Hi, I'm Andrew Pierce with EPICS at Purdue. In this module, I'm going to walk you through the resources available to you in the EPICS program. There are two main web-based platforms that we're going to use throughout the semester. The first one is Brightspace, and hopefully you'll be comfortable with that quickly, as most of your classes should be there. In Brightspace, you'll be able to view due dates for when your assignments are due. You'll be able to submit those assignments, check your attendance in the class, and view your grades. There'll also be some guidance in Brightspace about the expected activities on a week-by-week basis and a lot of resources for you for the program. So I recommend you look through that. We also use Microsoft Teams as our main team collaboration tool and communication tool. So within Teams, you'll be able to hold virtual meetings. You'll be able to do phone or video calls with your community partners, with your teammates, your advisor, your TA, or the EPICS staff. You can store all of your files right in Microsoft Teams so that you don't have to go looking around a Google Drive for those that maybe isn't attached to your team and might not stay with your team from semester to semester. And that's also where you're going to find your OneNote notebook. So really recommend that you look through Teams and understand everything that's there available to you. So in addition to our web-based resources, there are a lot of people resources available to you. So Dr. Bill Oakes is our director. Many of you who have gone through our learning community will know him from the Engineering 133 course, and he's the advisor for a number of EPICS teams as well. I'm Andrew Pierce, the assistant director for EPICS. I'm here to help you with any academic questions about the program. So if there's anything that you need in terms of course structure, grading, syllabus assessment, things like that, I'm the person to go to. Or if you're just not sure who to ask, feel free to come to me anytime. Haley Cutler is our senior program manager. She's going to help out a lot with our community organizations and partnerships, as well as helping all of you students with enrollment, things like that. Brandon Stevens is our lab manager. Brandon's going to be there to help you out with any supplies or equipment you need in the lab, as well as instruction and advice how to use that equipment. And he just has a wealth of experience in a number of fields. So recommend you go to Brandon when you need help with those types of things. Robin Terwilliger is our senior administrative assistant. She's going to help out with design reviews, with all of the orders that you place for supplies and things like that. And it's sort of another jack of all trades that could help with a number of issues that you have. So feel free to stop by the EPICS office and talk to Robin. In addition to the staff, you'll have your team advisor. And we also have a pool of graduate TAs. So the graduate TAs are assigned to teams, but they're available as a resource to every team. So if you're a team who's working on a project and your TA on your team is really a software kind of person and you need help with something mechanical or civil or education or anthropology or any number of things, we have a lot of different TAs available to you. So make use of that whole pool of resources. Any of them are going to be happy to reach out and give you a hand. Then we also have undergrad TAs that help out in the lab spaces. They can unlock tools for you, show you how to use them, help you find supplies and things like that. So keep an eye out for those undergrad TAs as well. There are a number of different lab spaces available to you as an EPICS student. Our main labs on the first floor of the Armstrong building is our prototyping lab. That's ARMS 1098. You're going to find there an electronic prototyping section as well as large project work. We have our build lab. This is in the basement of Armstrong and B103. That's where you're going to find saws, drills, power tools, things like that you'll need to fabricate projects, as well as a lot of our raw materials. We have a computer lab dedicated for you in ARMS 1095. There is printing available there to you that is not going to be on your quota, but please only print EPICS materials there. We do 3D printing and laser cutting by request, and there's a form for that on our website. And we also make use of the Bechtel Innovation Design Center, but do keep in mind, in order to use that facility, you won't be able to just walk up. You have to register and do some pre-work. In EPICS, we build real projects, and in order to do that, you're going to have to purchase the materials and supplies you need to build your prototypes. To do that, we have corporate sponsorships that provide us with funding that we use to buy the materials you need. You'll submit a budget as a team earlier in the semester to indicate how much of that money you expect to spend this semester, and we'll approve those budgets and allocate that money to your team. In addition to those supplies that you might purchase, there are also a number of common lab supplies that we keep on stock all the time. So take a look around the labs and see if what you need is already available. Let the lab manager know if you see any of those common supplies that need to be reordered, or if there's something we don't stock that you think we should. When you do need to buy supplies for your project, the way you do this is by completing a purchase request form. You'll find that form on Brightspace and on our website. On the form, you'll indicate what vendor you're purchasing materials from, and then exactly what the items are you want purchased and what they cost. That will be approved by first your team's advisor, then by the EPICS office, and then we'll contact you when it's time to actually make the purchase. For the purchase, we can either order things for you if it's an online purchase, or we can check you out a credit card to make a local purchase. You'll need to make sure you bring back an itemized receipt and return the credit card as quickly as possible. One thing that I do have to stress is don't make any personal purchases. So don't use your own money to buy supplies for your EPICS project. We don't have any way to reimburse you or pay you back. So make sure you work through the process of the purchase request form. The team budget that you're going to use to allocate money for your team is going to be submitted during week 4. You can make small purchases before week 4, especially if your team is returning and they know exactly what they need to buy, but those are going to be small and of a limited nature until your budget's approved. Teams request money through the budget form, and you can submit an updated budget if as your semester progresses you realize you've under budgeted or over budgeted for the semester. A typical year-long budget for EPICS is around $1,200, but it can vary a lot. So that's kind of the scale you should be thinking. If your team is asking for $50,000 or $100,000, we don't have the ability to do that, but we can help you look for grants and fundraising if that's what your community partner really needs. The budgets are due week 4, but we will keep accepting them as long as money remains. So if you didn't get the money you needed week 4, don't be shy to request more. Okay, so the EPICS lab and using the EPICS labs. The labs are for EPICS students only, so please don't invite other students into the lab without permission. Using the EPICS lab is a privilege, and you can lose that privilege if you misuse the labs. This primarily comes down to cleaning up after yourself when you're done in the lab and being safe in the things that you're doing. If you leave behind big messes every time you use the lab, you're going to lose your privileges because you leave the lab an unusable place for the other students, and that's not fair. There's no charge for printing in the EPICS lab, which can be a big deal if you need to print materials for your team, but please don't abuse that privilege and print personal materials. When you're working in the labs, we really want you to encourage a safety first mindset. So we want you to get your hands on new tools and new things, but do it with oversight. So ask someone to help you, ask someone to train you how to do those things before you do it, and make sure that you're following all of the PPE and other safety protocols for that piece of equipment. We want you to have a respect for this being a shared space. So there are hundreds of students using the EPICS labs, and it may not be busy the first couple of weeks and give the impression that you have the labs all to yourself. But as we get into the crunch part of the semester, if you leave the labs a mess, if you don't put tools back where you got them, chaos ensues quickly. So please be a good member of the space and respect that other people use it as well. We really want you to do that because the projects we do really make a difference to someone. And if you've trashed the lab and made it so the team after you can't get any work done, then you've inhibited our ability to affect our community. So in summary, EPICS will provide you with a lot of resources to help you get your project done, but you have to be proactive and seek them out. Whether it's materials you need, if it's help or tutorial on how to use tools, or if it's human resources and know-how, those are all available to you, but we don't know to help you if you don't ask, so don't be shy. Make use of all the online and physical tools you have available to you. They're there for a reason, so make sure that you put them to good use. And finally, your TA, your advisors, and the staff are all here to help you, so don't be shy to come and ask for that help.